Welcome to the Weird Dough Women's History Month cocktail series.
Weird Dough Cocktails.
So I found this book called Free the Tipple, and it has all kinds of really exciting, fun women in here and incredible little biographies about them, drinks inspired by them, and really cool illustrations. So we're going to make a bunch of these cocktails. And what better time to start than Women's History Month? So let's get started. Today's cocktail is Alison Bechdel. I love her. She's a super talented lesbian cartoonist who wrote the graphic novel Fun Home, which inspired the Broadway musical. So for Alison's cocktail, it's pretty easy. One, and one of each of these liquors. We have some ice here in our shaker glass. We're gonna do 1 shot of sweet vermouth. I've never had sweet vermouth in a cocktail other than in a Manhattan. 1 shot of Campari. Obviously, I have had this before. This Mezcal is smoky. This cocktail is a Mezcal Negroni. Usually we shake, but this, instead of shaking, you stir. Kind of satisfying to stir. Not as satisfying as shaking, though. We're gonna put the lid back on so we can strain it out. So we'll keep the melted ice that's in here, melted from the alcohol, out of it. And we have a little orange twist here. Something nice you can do with your twist is rub it along the edge of the glass, and that will give you just a little extra orange flavor. And you can hang it on the side, which is a little precarious and might fall, or you can just plop it in there. Whoop, we're gonna plop it in. Cheers to Alison. Let's talk a little bit about why Alison is a complete icon while we drink our drink. Alison Bechdel. Let's try her drink. Wow, it's really good. It's smoky and bitter and orangey. It's a good drink, highly recommend. So, Alison Bechdel, how do I know who she is? I know who she is because of Fun Home, the Broadway musical. So, in case you didn't know this about me, hi kitty. In case you didn't know this about me, this is my kitty cat Winston. I am a huge musical theater nerd. I love musical theater almost more than anything. It's like my top probably 5 things on the planet that I love the most. So Fun Home came out, I want to say it came out in 2015, and it won the Tony Award for Best Musical. I was thrilled when this show came out. So it's at a theater called the Circle the Square, which is right next to Wicked, in case you've ever been to New York City and perhaps have seen that show. And the Circle in the Square is really cool because it's theater in the round. So you sit all around and like up above the stage, which gives you a 360 view of the show and the actors, and it kind of makes it for a much different viewing experience than just a flat front. Much more personal of a viewing experience. So I was super thrilled when Fun Home came out because it was something a little new and different than what is usually on Broadway, with like all of the lights and the glitter of like Disney and all of that. And this felt really down to earth and personal and like a raw, actual human telling of a story, and it exceeded expectations. I highly recommend it. It is one of my favorite Broadway musicals of all time. I want them to revive it immediately when COVID is over, but I also wanted them to revive it immediately when it closed. It's just such a special piece. It's just such a special show and experience to get to see. So that's how I know who she is. That was my first introduction to her as an artist, but she had been around for way longer than that. So she started a comic strip, excuse me. That's a lot of talking. I'm lucky to have this delicious cocktail. So she started this comic strip in 1983 called Dykes to Watch Out For. There was one really cool thing that came out of it. She released one of her strips. It was called The Rule. And in the strip, one of the characters says that she won't see a film unless it meets these 3 requirements. Number 1, it has to have at least 2 named female characters in it. Number 2, the female characters need to have a conversation with one another. And number 3, the conversation cannot be about men. This has come to be known as the Bechdel test, and it is a barometer for the representation of women in film. And unfortunately, only about 50% of films actually meet the test. So, seems like it would be a pretty easy meet. You have two female characters who have a conversation that's not about a guy. Turns out, it's less represented than we would assume. But I'm glad that that test exists and people are looking at it as a barometer, and maybe that will change the face of cinema. That'd be cool. Cheers to Alison for making us all a little bit wiser. So to close, I just would like to read this little quote about her and what she wants the world to take away from her work. Bechdel has said, "The secret submersive goal of my work is to show that women, not just lesbians, are regular human beings." How about that? So take a second and pour yourself this cocktail, then pop on the Fun Home soundtrack or pop open one of her graphic novels, do a Google search, see if you can maybe find her original comic strip, Dykes to Watch Out For, give it a read, and cheers. Cheers to you, Alison. Thank you for paving the way for women everywhere. See you guys next episode. Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have thumbs, and feel free to subscribe. If you want to see the behind the scenes footage, follow me on Instagram.